Hey, what's up, guys? So yesterday, man, we had a great day again. It's been amazing. I'm gonna actually run through some numbers tomorrow. I'm gonna take some time today to look at all the numbers that have been happening. It's been a ridiculous run. It's probably been like 40 or 50 wins and only about like 6 or 7 losses or something ridiculous. Maybe not that many wins and not so little losses, but overall, it's been like a 30-day or 31 days to 2 losses or something like that. So 30 plus days of wins and only like 2 losses. So 2 days ago we did take a loss, but yesterday was actually the opposite. We did win. It was an 8-3 day. It was very good. I'm going to show you the hits that happened yesterday. I'm also going to hook you up with a very strong parlay that I love for today. There's only one little situation that I don't like, but everything else matches. I'm also going to hook you up with some batter props as well. So stick around for that. Let me get right to it. I'm sorry. I'm also going to look at something. I'm going to show you some stuff that I used to talk about a lot before. I'm going to actually break down some games, and I'll tell you why. I do something called the process of elimination, which means that I start at the top and I look at all the teams, and then I start eliminating one by one, depending on, like, for example, pitching, head to head, line move, sharp money, and I just start eliminating. As soon as I see something that I don't like, I eliminate it. So, like I said, I'm going to show you all those games. It's not the whole slate. It's already broken down to like the favorite ones, like the best ones. But even then, I broke it down even further, and that's how I come up with these plays. So stick around for that. I'm gonna talk about, like I said, I used to talk about this all the time, and I kind of stopped sharing that. So I'm going to talk about that today. So I appreciate you all that are here. Let me get right into it here. So, for example, this was yesterday. I shared this one in the VIP, and I believe also for Discord. I can't remember if I did it Discord or not, but this is definitely VIP. I did Joey Ortiz and Falefa not to get a hit. I'm sorry, not to get an RBI, and they both hit. So that was a win. Then we had the Phillies at a -1.5. This actually hit pretty decent for us. I think they were losing at the beginning of the game. I can't remember, but then they came back and won. So that hit for us. And then this one I definitely shared. I talked about this yesterday. I explained why I like the Cubs and the Phillies, and they actually hit 2 days in a row for us, the same two teams, the same parlay. And I explained why I like this so much. So that hit for us. And then this one is actually my business partner. He does something called Nerfies, and then he parlays the best two Nerfies, but then he actually moves the line up. So it's a under 1.5. I don't know if you can see this or not, but basically we look at the no run first inning, and we pick the two, or he picks the two best ones that he likes, and then he just moves the lineup and parlays it together. So you can see right there, Rangers versus Astros, Marlins versus Rays, under 1.5, no run first innings. So those actually, that's on a 5-day winning streak right there. Trey Turner to get one hit. That one hit for us. And then we had Pete Crow Armstrong. I mentioned this guy yesterday. He's a rookie. I'm pretty sure he's a rookie. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he is. And he's already being talked about a lot. He's a very strong batter. He's actually the first in the lineup for the Cubs, and he's been amazing. I'm not going to go through his stats right there. I did talk about his stats yesterday, but this dude got 2 hits. He only needed to get 1 hit. And then the Cubs, I took them at a -1.5. They won pretty easily. You can see the score was a 7-3. The day before that, they won 13-3. So there's been a very high. They've been getting a lot of runs and a lot of hits, and I explained why. There's a very high wind. It's been very high winds in Chicago for the last 2 to 3 days. Today's not so much. They're going to play again today, but the winds are not picked up like they were in the last 2 to 3 days. We also had the Rays. They won 4-0. This one, actually, I even forgot that I had posted this one. I shared it on the VIP, and I completely just forgot about it. When I was checking my stats, I'm like, damn, they won. I didn't even realize that I had done it, to be honest. I didn't even talk about it. But anyways, that's what happened there. Give me a second here. So then the last thing, the thing I will mention is this Shohei Ohtani. You can see we also had him to get 1 hit. He was one of the ones that didn't hit for us. So he kind of ruined the perfect day. You can see he went up to bat 6 times right here, and he got 0 hits. The last at bat, I was paying attention because it was already super late. I wanted to see if he was going to get a hit. and they were down by 2, and there was people on base, so he could have done an RBI or whatever to get people in base. There was a guy on first. He went up to bat 6 times and he got 0 hits. He did get he actually got on first base, and they called it a what the hell you call that, infielder choice, or fielder's choice, which means he threw it to second instead of first, and even though he got on base, he did not count as a hit. So this dude is actually very powerful. He's been hitting for us a lot. He just didn't come through for us yesterday. So it is what it is. We take losses, we take wins. Overall, it was a great day, 8-1, like I just explained. So here we go, guys. I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to share the plays that I said where I start the process of elimination, and I'm going to share those plays. I'm not going to tell you why I skipped them. If they show up, this is just basically the data. If they show up on the reason why I didn't take them, I'm going to talk to you about it. But if it doesn't clearly say what it is, then I'm going to skip it. But either way, like I said, I'm going to talk to you about it. So here we go. Bruce is asking, who do I like today? That's what I'm getting to, man. I want to talk about it. So here's the first one. This is one of the ones that I skipped, and then I'll explain why. Or like I said, if it shows me why, I'll tell you. But like I said, I don't write notes on why I skip them. But basically, the Yankees is the one that I was looking at. They have a huge advantage here with Max Fried. He's 6-0 with an ERA, very low ERA, over Peterson. There's a bullpen edge also. The Mets have a little bit of a bullpen edge overall. That's not much. And then the Yankees are favored publicly, but the line was actually shifting the wrong way. That's what it was. The line was shifting towards the Mets. The line movement, actually, well, never mind. It's saying that the line movement was favoring the Yankees. So overall, there was a lot of contradictions like that. So, like, for example, the bullpen is on the Mets. The line was shifting towards the Mets, but then the what do you call it? The advantage was towards the Yankees, and then they were, there's too many contradictions like that. Also, you can see the OPS right here. The Yankees were favored. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that I have all this sort of information. This is actually something called the sharp edge. And once you look at this game right here, it pretty much breaks down exactly what you need to know. It's telling you the pitcher, it's telling you the bullpen, it's telling you the line move, it's telling you the OPS record, it's telling you the pitching stats and all that stuff, okay? So like I said, I'm skipping this game. I do like the Cubs. I'm not going to read this to you, but you can look at this while I read what I have. So give me a second here. Where the hell happened to my notes? Sorry, man. I had my notes up here, but I guess I don't have them. So either way, I do like the Cubs. Again, this is the third day in a row I'm taking the Cubs. So that's going to be the first leg of a parlay. Okay. So the Cubs, they've dominated this series. They've won 7 straight games against the White Sox. The last 2 games that they've won, we've actually been on them. Like I just showed you the receipt. The OPS is dramatic here. Well, not crazy, but it's OPS. What this means is the on-base percentage. Okay, so basically, when the Cubs play any team, it doesn't matter. They're very high ranked on getting on base compared to the White Sox. There's also a big time, massive Cubs bullpen edge. The White Sox have one of the worst bullpens. They have almost a 6.7, 6.59 in the last 5 days. What that means is that whenever the bullpen, the relief pitchers and all that stuff come in, they're not so good, okay? So the main guy that once he comes in, even though he's decent, his backup sucks for the bullpen, okay, for the White Sox. Also, the starting pitcher for the Cubs is Colin Rea, I should say, and he's way more efficient. I don't have the numbers here in front of me. I'm not going to skip back and forth today, but it does favor the Cubs. Also, there's a lot of historical data. Like I mentioned, there's 7 straight games in a row that the Cubs have beat the White Sox. All right, so that's, again, the first leg of my parlay is the Cubs. Let me see if I can find my notes, actually. Give me a second, real quick. I have them here. No, I guess not. Let me see. Yeah, I guess not. Sorry, guys. I thought I had my notes right here. Somehow they got deleted. But anyways, all right. So we got the Tigers and the Blue Jays. You can take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to read it all. But basically, I stayed away from this game. Okay, there is an edge on the Tigers. The line is shifting the wrong way. There is a bullpen edge. The Tigers actually have one of the best bullpens. You compare that to the very weak Blue Jays bullpen right here. Also, the OPS is actually on the opposite side, so there's a contradiction there. It's saying that the batters are better for the Blue Jays, but then the bullpen sucks for the Blue Jays. So there's contradictions like that. Also, there's a big gap for OPS for the Blue Jays. Okay. Overall, I don't like it. Also, the Rays, I was looking very heavy. I was actually about to place my bet on the Rays. Like I said yesterday, I took the Rays and they won 4-0. There's a lot of reasoning behind that, especially right here. You can see this Quantrill guy. This Quantrill guy is very bad, and he's plays for the Marlins. And this guy's decent right here, Shane Baz. Also, the Rays have a great ERA compared to the Marlins. Also, the Rays have great offense over the Marlins as well. There's also line move and stuff like that. So, like I said, I didn't write my notes on why I skipped these guys. I think it had something to do with the head-to-head trend or the line move or something like that. But either way, I'm staying away from this game. This is a very strong lean towards the Rays. Again, they won yesterday, 4-0. Also, the weak pitcher for the Marlins. But again, I'm staying away from it. You got the Astros and the Rangers. I'm not going to read this again, guys. You can take a screenshot if you want. This is just the information. Those are just leans. Cardinals and Royals. This one, I'm going to actually delete this. There was a lot of contradictions in that one. Rockies and Diamondbacks. Okay, the Rockies and Diamondbacks. I'm actually taking the Diamondbacks as my second leg. I'm going to show you the slip. Let me just kind of get off of this screen here and show you exactly my information here. So I do have some stuff here. Let me go right back to this here. So the White Sox and the Cubs, you can see the Cubs are supposed to win. The projected score is 5.1 for the Cubs and 3.4 for the White Sox. Also, like I said, the White Sox were on a good winning streak. They had won 5 games in a row before they came up against the Cubs, and then the Cubs have beat them twice already. So this is where it comes up what I was trying to say in the beginning of when I started talking. Whenever any team, it doesn't matter, when there's a 3-game series like it is here right now, it's very, very difficult for a team to sweep the series. It does happen. Obviously, it happens, but it's harder for that to happen. So today it would be a sweep for the Cubs. Now, the reason I trust the Cubs more than the White Sox is obviously the White Sox suck. But not only that, the Cubs have already beat these guys like 7 games in a row. Plus, the Cubs are 9-1 overall when they've played the White Sox. So there's a lot of extra data that I'm looking at that favors the Cubs. Here's the other information. The Cubs line move here. It started at a 255 and it went all the way to 291. You can see the strong money here coming in 92%. And the percentage of the bets is 93%. So everything is matching towards the Cubs again. The last thing I'll talk about the Cubs is right here. You can see the Cubs to bat in the 9th. This is based on the sports book directly. So you need to, if you start learning how to read a sports book, the sports book actually tells you, if you know how to read it, they're actually telling you who's going to win. So for example, if you know baseball at all, if the home team doesn't bat at the end of the 9th, that means that they're favored. So what this means basically, I'm trying to explain something here. Okay, so let's say the Cubs are going against the White Sox, right? But the Cubs today, they're playing at home. Now, if the Cubs are at home and they're winning, they don't get to bat in the 9th anymore because they're winning. So there's no reason for the Cubs to bat. And that goes for any baseball team. So again, it says Cubs to bat in the 9th inning. And it's saying that they're not, it's very heavily favored right here, that they are not going to bat in the 9th. Okay. So what this is telling you, like I said, if you learn how to read the sports book is literally telling you that they believe that the Cubs are going to be winning in the 9th inning, that they're not even going to get to bat. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Now you look at the hits, just in general, the hits overall, the Cubs are supposed to get over 8.5 hits. And the White Sox are going to get under 7.5 hits. So what is that telling you? All this matches, again, everything is matching towards the Cubs. I hope that made sense, guys. If you like that sort of information, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you're on Twitter, go to YouTube, type in Beast Sports Picks, or go to this little link right here, the little play button here. That'll take you to YouTube, and make sure you subscribe there. Okay. Also, get the free picks. We give a lot of free information. As you can see, this is actually just free. I'm giving it out. I shared this in the VIP very early this morning, so they were able to get the odds at a much better, cheaper price because they're VIP. Now, again, go to the link in the description, click on free picks. All right. I'm going to share now the other one, which was the Diamondbacks. So let me get right into that one. Diamondbacks are very heavily favored. They were at a 295. Now they're at a minus 300. So the line is still shifting in their favor, even though they're heavily favored already. 92% of the bets, 93% of the money. That just literally tells you that there's a lot of information coming in, a lot of money coming in on the Diamondbacks. Rockies are literally the worst team in baseball right now. They are literally the worst team, okay? And that's not an exaggeration. That's not me just talking shit. This is literally their 8 wins. They've lost 37 games. Let me kind of zoom in on this. They've lost 37 games right here, okay? And they've only won 8 games. In the last 5, they've only won 1 game, okay? So against the spread, they've only covered the spread 15 times. So what that means is that if they were supposed to lose by 2, they lose by 2, okay? So let's see. All right, so Sergio's saying, how's it going, brother? I learned something new every time I watch your videos. Never thought about that 9th inning bat. Yeah, man, it's crazy. And like I said, if you start learning how to read the books, yeah, you're welcome, man. If you start learning how to read the books, they actually tell you how to win. So that's why I do something, like I said in the beginning, I do something called the process of elimination. So I start looking at all the games, and then I start splitting it down and down and down and down. And then I just end up with like a few plays. And the reason is I don't look at all the junk. As soon as I see something that doesn't make sense, I skip it. Okay, there's no reason to force anything. And that's the way you win. Okay. So again, guys, look at this. Diamondbacks, three out of the last 5 games have won. There's projected to score 6.1 compared to the Rockies at a 4.5. All right. I do have some batter props I want to share, and then again, guys, look at this. Look at this. This is even way heavier than the Cubs. It's telling you here. Are the Diamondbacks going to bat in the 9th? No. They're super, super heavy favorite not to bat in the 9th. But again, what that's telling you is that the books are telling you that they believe the Diamondbacks are not even going to come up to bat in the 9th. So they'll be winning the game before they even hit the 9th inning. Okay, that's sort of like, if you know anything about hockey, it's sort of like taking the favorite team, to win in 60 minutes, that they're not even going to go into overtime. That's pretty much what this is right here. And then you got the overs for the hits for the Diamondbacks to get over 9.5 hits. They're favored. Okay. And then compare that to a 7.5. So that's literally two less hits that they're saying that the Rockies, even though they're favored to go over the 7.5, that's literally 2 less hits than the Diamondbacks. I hope that's making sense, guys. Let me know if that doesn't make sense. So here's the slip, guys. I'm taking the Cubs on the money line, and I'm taking the Diamondbacks on the money line. If you want the props, I'm going to throw those in there inside the free channel today. I'll throw that in there, and then I'll tell them if they want this information about this parlay to come back and watch this video. So I'm going to kind of flip-flop it. If you want the props, go to the link in the chat. Go to the link in my description or beastsportspicks.com and click on free picks. Also, if you're on Twitter, make sure you go to the link in the description or beastsportspicks.com, or go to YouTube and type this in, Beast Sports Picks. Make sure you subscribe over there, guys. Let me know if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to be hopping off. Let's have another great day. It was an 8-3 day, guys. We've been smashing. Like I said, I'm going to take some time later today or tomorrow, and I'm going to count like the last 15 days, how many wins compared to how many losses, and it's dramatic. There's a lot of wins and very, very little losses. So it's been very good because, like I said, my process is getting much cleaner, much easier to read, and much better. And I'm pretty much eliminating all the junk and just keeping the best stuff. So obviously it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but this has been a very high hit rate, especially for the batter props, which, like I said, I'm going to throw into the free channel. So make sure you do that. Do not snooze on the free stuff. We throw out a lot of free information in there as well. Yeah, what's up, Bob? You're welcome, man. Thank you. All right, guys. So I'm going to be hopping off. I appreciate every one of you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Go to the link in the description and sign up for the free picks. Again, guys, the slip is the Cubs money line and the Diamondbacks money line. All right, guys. Let's have another great Sunday. One final warning I will mention. Sundays are pretty bad. Okay, so historically, Sundays are bad. So this might just turn to shit, just to be honest. So again, anything can happen, but hopefully today it turns in our favor. That's why, especially on Sundays, I don't force anything. So this is the one play I'm going with. This is what I have, and I have a bunch of batter props that I am going to share. All right, guys. Thank you. Let's have a great day.